Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the VR box. These are an updated version of some Google Cardboard-esque virtual reality goggles that you need to use an Android or iOS device, pop it into place in the universal holder, and then you get a pseudo 3D effect. You can play some games, watch some videos. Obviously, the experience isn't going to be as good as a dedicated console, maybe like something like the Sony HMZ series or the Sony VR PlayStation headset that's coming out later, or even something like the HTC Vive. But the price here is also much less aggressive. It costs only roughly $21 on Amazon.com, and what's kind of unique about this particular unit is it has a Bluetooth controller integrated as part of the package, so that's going to be handy if you are playing some games where you need some movement-based controls, because obviously when the phone is in place you can't really touch the screen, so it adds another way to control the unit aside from the typical accelerometer and motion of tilting and moving your head around. It's also branded and sold as the SOK80, the Socade 3D VR glasses, as the box 1 design. So this is another place that you can pick it up. Links down in the description box below offers the same design, the same contents in the box. It comes with a micro USB cable for charging the Bluetooth controller, the controller itself, and also the VR goggles. So taking a closer look at the design next, it's a bit fancier than some other goggles or Google Cardboard inspired goggles that we've seen in the past. Construction quality seems to be a bit better as well, because we have a soft kind of memory foam on the back when you place your head and your eyes into place, so it doesn't really squish your face. It seems more comfortable as well, despite looking a bit bulkier, so it's going to take up a bit more weight and space if you're traveling and carrying it around. Kind of reminiscent of the Galaxy VR goggles, but those are much more expensive despite operating on the same principles, not having any physical electronic components inside this shell, aside from just lenses, of course. The head strap itself comes on the top. The material is quite soft and stretchy, and there's also a fake leather band on the very back, and on the inside there are the 2 magnifying lenses, in addition to the 2 adjustments for the lenses in terms of the focusing, which are quite simple and easy to use depending on the device's screen size. You'll need to adjust these accordingly. The sides features access to the door where you slide the phone into place. It's a universal one-size-fits-all, and it seems quite stable. If your phone is 4 inches, let's say, to 5.2 inches, it should fit in fine. It shouldn't have any issues as far as comfort goes compared to other solutions we've tried in the past. Perhaps that one design that had suction cups, this is much more secure. The phone doesn't really want to fall out when you're moving it around, so overall a better fit and finish. There's also ventilation grills on the front, which prevents the phone from overheating, because when your phone is running 3D intensive simulations, it does get quite hot, and that's basically the box itself. The actual accessory comes in a separate little container like this. It says VR case, and the remote itself reminds me of a Wii nunchuck, which isn't a bad thing. There's also a quick start guide instruction manual, and it actually uses 2 AAA batteries located on the back instead of a rechargeable lithium-ion pack. So that's an interesting choice to not go for a rechargeable pack. But overall, it feels pretty nice in the hand despite being made entirely out of plastic. And again, if you used a Wii nunchuck, you'll know how it feels like as far as the button placement and everything from the shoulder keys. There are dedicated power on-off switches on the front. There's a blue LED which will illuminate when you turn the unit on or off. There's also a back key. There's a connection key when you're trying to pair it with a phone. There are dedicated A, B, C, D keys which are programmable depending on the app that you're using, and of course the joystick, which is pretty sensitive and easy to use if you're moving around in some kind of action-based game and it doesn't have head tracking. This is a decent option to go with that seems pretty responsive. There's a ever so slight delay, but it's not anything too crippling or bad, and again, it's pretty easy to pair with a phone once you have the batteries inserted. It lasts for about a year of continuous playback, so pretty energy efficient, and afterwards if you just turn it off, it saves on the power as well. It just uses Bluetooth 4.0. As far as the actual headset performance goes, again, it's basically the same story if you use Google Cardboard. If you've seen those demos, you kind of know the experience. Some apps work better than others, and it's constantly growing as well. So just right now, I think they're over 20,000 almost virtual reality apps from third-party programmers and people on the web, and so it's a continuously growing platform. And certainly as VR continues to even expand even more, we'll see more of those apps pop up. So for instance, there are things like the VR Cardboard Theater, which allows you to playback videos in a split screen view, because how this operates is basically there's a division between the two lenses, and so when you have the two, it's almost like one of those viewfinder or viewmaster toys that you saw as a child with those slides that you pop in and you see the images in 3D. It's the same concept here. So we have a 3D video playback experience. If you download any clips, there are games like Jurassic Park, maybe in 3D, that shows off the capabilities of the phone. Obviously, the resolution of the phone is quite important in terms of the display. So if your phone has, let's say, a 1080p display, that resolution is technically halved when you're using a cardboard app because it compresses it to half of the screen. So if you have a 2K or a 4K display on your phone that you're using, the effect becomes better. If you're using a low quality display like 480p, then it's a lot more pixelated when you're watching content. It becomes more dramatic when you're using 3D. There's of course 360 view in YouTube that you can use to watch videos and tilt it around and interact with. That's pretty cool. There's cardboard apps designed by Google, of course, the original ones, and of course other games and so on and so forth that you can play around and interact with. So it's constantly growing, and right now I think it's already something that you can invest on because it's quite cheap and you can play around with it. I think it's worth checking out, again, at only under $25. It opens up some other possibilities, either for creating content, watching content, playing back games, and this is one of the better design models I've seen as far as cardboard-esque virtual reality cases for smartphones are concerned. And you can check out more details about the VR box in our full written review, but this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.